Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fabulously Fun Trips. I'm your host, Greta Smith, owner of Savvy Travel Design, where I plan fabulously fun trips for my clients to share with their favorite people. Here on the show, I introduce you to my reps from my favorite travel companies so you can learn a little bit more about them and what makes them special, and so you can ask any questions that you might have. So don't hesitate to drop your questions in the comments below, and I will see that on my little feed and make sure we answer any questions you have before we leave for the evening. So I want to introduce you tonight. Oh, just quick FYI, if it sounds like someone's coming through my ceiling, I apologize. I'm back down in my husband's office today because my daughter's dance classes are back online tonight, which means she is dancing above my head. So I apologize if it sounds a little thumpy, but that's why. So I am so excited tonight to introduce you to my friend Kathie from AmaWaterways. Let me pull her in here. Here she comes. There she is. Hi, Kathie.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Thanks for being here tonight. Just a quick heads up for everybody out there. We are having a little bit of a technical, Kathie's picture is sometimes in and out. So just kind of FYI. But once we get into the pictures that she's sharing with us from Ama tonight, there she is. We haven't had any trouble with that. It's just like the camera for some reason. But Kathie, so excited to have you with us. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for welcoming me into your clients' homes this evening. I'm really excited to teach everybody why Ama is the highest rated luxury brand of river cruising and what makes us so special. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite spots in the world, the Rhine River.
Lovely. I'm so excited to hear about that and see all of the cool pictures I know you brought with you. So in the keeping that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over to your screen so you can show us all sorts of fun things. Give me just a second to pull that in here. And there it is. All right, Kathie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Cannot offer the extra $100 off on top of that, but that is an exceptionally great offer. And we have 3 other sailings that have dates in 2021 and 2022 that have a free pre or post cruise. So that will be Taste of Bordeaux, Gems of Southeast Europe, and Rhine Castles and Swiss Alps. So please do not hesitate to reach out to Greta for information on any of these, and she'll be able to tell you what dates you can get that free pre or post cruise. So great deals for coming this evening. So I'd again like to say welcome. And I'm going to start this off. My favorite way is to put you in the mood to cruise. Well, I never tire from seeing that, and it does put you in the mood to cruise. So AMA is a family-owned company. Our president and CEO, Rudy Schreiner, is considered the godfather of river cruising. Ironically, he started another company called Viking and another company called Uniworld, and he tweaked a third company called Avalon. So that's how he started in his world of river cruising. His beautiful wife, Christine, started in travel in Dresden, Germany. And when the wall fell, she went to California and she worked at Viking with Rudy. And that's where the love story started. And Gary's family owned a company called Brendan Vacations. His dad started it, and he sold Brendan Vacations to get the money to start AmaWaterways. We started the company back in 2002. We're a very hands-on, family-owned company. The owners are very approachable. So when Rudy decided to start our company, he's an engineer and an architect. He wanted to design our ships differently. So he put passion, purpose, and innovation into our design. Our ships can sail in shallow water. It's called shallow draft. So that was never a really big thing until 3 years ago. There was a 105-year drought in Europe. We were the only river cruise company who made all of our sailings. And that's really important to know that we have that ability. The ships have a whole lot of other bells and whistles that I'm going to go over in a minute. There's all different levels of sun and shade on the top deck. There's a running track. In front of that is a heated pool with a swim-up pool bar. Then the deck drops down safely about 4 feet, and you sit and you ride on the ship in country club casual seating, and you watch the scenery go by. Oceans take you to countries and rivers take you through them. When you're on the river, it's more of a cultural immersion. And what we do is we'll sail at night and pull into a port about 6 in the morning. You'll have breakfast from 7 to 9. Then you'll do your morning tour. Then the ship might move during lunch, or you might move after lunch, but then you'll have your afternoon tour. And because you're parked right in the downtown, it's easy on, easy off, and you essentially double your vacation time. And a little fun fact is the ships were originally pulled by ropes and donkeys. So what we've done is we've paved those pathways, and those are now our bike paths. Now, something else that's very important is AmaWaterways is a 100% debt-free company. Now, booking into the future after everything we've been through in the travel industry, it's important to know how solvent a company is that you're dealing with. Now, whenever we built a ship, we paid cash for it. This year, we have 3 ships coming out, the Ama Siena, the Ama Lucia, and the Ama Dahlia, which will be in Egypt. All 3 of those ships have been paid for 100%. Now, something else that's important is not only we a solvent company, that we believe in sustainable tourism, and we are stewards of our environment. So we minimize our carbon footprint, and we make sure that we are fuel efficient and have microfiltration and LED. We do the best we can to preserve our environment. 18 of our ships won awards for being green, and the Ama Cristina won the award for being the #1 green ship in the world. Now, where do we go? We have 2 ships in Portugal. We have 5 ships in France. We have Paris and Normandy, Paris to Le Havre, Bordeaux, Provence, and Burgundy and Provence. We put our 4 smallest ships in France. Do you know why we do that? Well, the French rivers are more shallow and more narrow. And in order for a ship to get into little ports like Paris, they have to be able to turn around. So what we did was we put these 4 small ships in, and this way we can get into the little nooks and cranny ports that others can't. Imagine yourself in Paris having this wonderful dinner with wine, and after dinner you're going to want to get off the ship and see the Eiffel Tower or the Champs-Élysées. With us, it's an easy walk. With our competitors who have the big ships on these rivers, they have to park an hour outside of town and bus you in an hour, bus you back an hour. That's not your optimum guest experience. But with us, with the right size ship on the right size river, we do provide the optimum guest experience. Then we start at the top of the Rhine in Amsterdam. We sail down the Rhine to the Rhine Canal. That will connect with the Danube. You can sail as far south on the Danube as Giurgiu, which is not far from Istanbul. Then we do Vietnam and Cambodia. Starting in September of 2021, we will do Egypt. So if that's on your bucket list, you talk to Greta, because we can take your booking right now. And then one of our most popular destinations is South Africa. And if anyone's thinking about South Africa, please call Greta as soon as you can because that sells out quickly and years in advance. So this is what the ship looks like when you enter the ship. It's very sleek and stylish with marble and granite. We like to equate ourselves with decor of sort of like the Four Seasons. Now, this is the Panoramic Lounge, and this is where the action happens. Do you know what the most popular thing is here in the lounge? It's the barista machine. Fresh ground coffee 24/7, tea, hot chocolate. All the seating is done in country club casual, so it's conducive to making new friends. Every night there's a show here in the lounge that's indigenous to the destination. And then after the show is a musician, and that person will play the night away until you tell them to stop. But I do these presentations all over the country. And one of the things that I get asked all the time is, do you have food anywhere else but your restaurant? Well, my answer is our other restaurant, of course. And then we always have food in the lounge. We start in the morning with a nice continental breakfast. Then we'll switch to soup and sandwiches. Then we'll have tapas of the day at the bar. And later on during happy hour, we'll have hors d'oeuvres. During the afternoon, we're going to have all kinds of pastries and baked goods and cookies during high tea. And then later at night, we're going to have a buffet. Now, this is the bar area of the lounge. So we like to say we're inclusive, but not all inclusive. So what does that mean? It means we have champagne at breakfast, beer and wine at lunch and dinner. And the whole hour before dinner is an open bar happy hour. So when you're sitting with Greta and you're going to compare us to our all-inclusive competitors, she's going to give you a price on the all-inclusive probably about $1,000 more a person than we are. So what you have to do is evaluate all the things that are included that someone might be charging you extra for versus things that people aren't charging you for that you're going to need that you wanted built into your program. So if you put this in a rational thought form, our drinks are about $5 a piece. Beer's $3.80. If you had 5 drinks a day, every day for a week, that's $175 compared to that extra $1,000 our competitors are charging for all-inclusive. So you have to think about what you're being charged for, and it's going to help you make the best decision for yourself when choosing a river cruise. Now, this is the library. It's a nice, cozy area. I like to duck in here, do my crossword puzzles. It's cozy fireplaces. Now, this is the average cabin on our ship. Our long ships and everybody else's long ships are the same size. They're 210 to 235 square feet. We have a real balcony and a French balcony side by side, marble, granite, very nicely well appointed without being overdone. So why is it important that I'm telling you we have a real balcony? Well, we have competitors that have a window that goes down and they call it a balcony. Well, it's a window that goes down. This is a traditional balcony with 2 chairs and a table, and you sit outside and you watch the scenery go by. There's marble baths that are very well appointed as well and spacious. Now, we do have cabins called French balcony statements. Those staterooms, they are 170 square feet. They have what's equivalent to a sliding glass door, which makes it feel like your cabin is extending out into the river. These are quite spacious as well. Then we have our D&E category cabins. These are 160 square feet. These are very spacious as well. This is the size cabin that I am usually in. And again, the beds will separate in any of these to make it 2 twin beds. You're seeing those plastic water bottles and saying, this lady just said they were green. Well, we started sailing last July 5th, and that's when we implemented the green new water bottles. We haven't had an opportunity to get a film crew over to Europe to take some new pictures. But when we did start sailing, we switched to a biodegradable bottle, sort of like a children's juice box. And you'll get unlimited water in the cabin. We're going to give you unlimited water on your tours. So why is it important that I'm telling you we're giving you unlimited water? Some competitors of ours actually charge $8 a bottle for water. So you're noticing things that are adding up. We do have some ships that have connecting cabins, and we have quad cabins, and we do have triple cabins. Now, this is a picture of a quad cabin. This is a suite. With these, it will be a sofa that pulls out into bedding for two. Behind a slatted wall will be also bedding for two. It will have those beautiful twin balconies, and at 350 square feet, they are massive. Now, with these suites, you get butler service. You'll also have fruit baskets in the room, flowers in the room, champagne, and these are a very desired commodity. If someone wants a sailing with these cabins with the suite category, get to Greta quickly because they go fast. Now, every cabin has a flat screen TV. Do you know we spend more money on the internet than we do on fuel? We have 4G capability on the ships. You're going to get first run movies, regular TV, music, and the internet. We give you a keyboard so you can put all your pictures online. And honestly, I was getting very spoiled. I've been with Ama about 7 years, and I am so used to being on our ships with our unlimited internet. I was on an ocean cruise 2 years ago, and when I got on board, it was $1.55 a minute for the internet. Well, I quickly put my laptop in the safe, and I just thanked my lucky stars for when I'm on AMA because it's included at no extra charge. We're also going to give you unlimited postcards. We're even going to stamp them for you. So it's a really inclusive vacation with AmaWaterways. Now, we do have a beauty salon and a spa on every ship. You'll make your reservation when you come on board. Then we have a gym on every ship. We're really into physical fitness. And you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. The gyms are well appointed. And something that I just think is just really cute is the treadmills are actually sunken into the ground so klutzy people like myself can't fall off. Now, we do have heated pools with swim-up pool bars on all of the ships except for the 4 smaller ships in France. Those particular ships will have whirlpools and putting greens. The pool is much more sizable in person, and people use this all year round. Not last year, but the year before, I was on right around Thanksgiving time, and I was on the Rhine River, and the buzz around the ship was 2 girls were in the pool at 2:00 in the morning swimming. Well, I had to find them. I found out that they were from Erie, Pennsylvania, which is right across the river or water from Buffalo. And I was thinking maybe they had warmer blood, but the point is that the pools are heated to 90 degrees, so it's really comfortable even when it's very cold out. Now, for those into physical fitness, we have an exercise instructor on every ship except for the 2 in Portugal. We start every day at 7 a.m. with champagne yoga. How about that as a way to start your day? We have classes that go in half-an-hour intervals. We have an AMA Cruiser app that will explain to you what we're doing, when we're doing it, and where we're doing it. In nice weather, we like to go on the top deck. We provide your yoga mats. And in inclement weather, we usually hold the classes down in the lounge. And again, like I said before, you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. The point is that that is included. And I personally like to work out as much as I can because I love to eat all the great food. Now, our wellness instructor will also have some discussions on board on wellness and healthy eating. Now, if you haven't had dinner, I apologize in advance. We have the most fabulous food. We have the equivalent of a Michelin chef on board. It's called a chaîne de rôtisserie cuisine. So now what we do is bring everything on fresh every day. It's all farm to table. About 4:00 in the morning, you're going to smell smells wafting down the hall of the most wonderful pastries. The hardest thing I have to do in the course of a day is to back away from the giant pastry display in the dining room. We can accommodate any dietary restriction with the exception of kosher. And we do apologize to our Jewish friends. The reason we can't do kosher is the kitchen is too small to have 2 fridges, 2 stoves, and 2 dishwashers. But all you have to do is tell Greta what kind of dietary restriction you have. She'll put it in your reservation, and when you come on board, the chef will meet with you and go over different menu choices. Every day, our maitre d' will bring you your own personalized menu for your selection, and we will provide meals to accommodate your dietary restrictions. Now, this is the main dining room. We have menu service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As I said before, we're the highest rated luxury brand, and with that, you want to be waited on for all 3 meals, where most of our competitors only offer a buffet for breakfast and lunch. Then we have 2 little wine nooks on the outside of the dining room. They hold up to 12 people. They're great for birthdays and anniversaries, or if you just have loud friends like I do. But it's the same menu as the dining room, and it's first come, first serve. And there is no extra charge for using these rooms. Now, we do have an alternate dining multi-course wine pair dinner, and it's at no extra charge. Can you believe that? You make your reservations on board. It's very pristine. The chef does the whole preparation behind glass. And if you can get additional reservations, it's still at no extra charge. And we do have some competitors that have a chef's table. One charges $150. The other one charges $225. Ours is included at no charge. So again, you're starting to see the things that I've been mentioning that add up, and they're starting to become big things. Now, we're talking about the Rhine River, which is one of my favorite places. And the wow factor on the Rhine River is the Rhine Gorge, which we're going to talk about a lot of different things on the Rhine River in the next few minutes. So the itinerary is going to start in Basel, Switzerland, and you're going to go north to Amsterdam. We're going to visit spots like Bryce and Strasbourg, France, which is arguably one of my favorite places in the world. And that was just a picture that you saw of Strasbourg. And Heidelberg, Germany, or Speyer is going to be one of your choices during the week on one of the days. Which one shall I pick? Or Rudesheim, which is famous for a coffee I'm going to tell you about in a little bit, or Koblenz, or Cologne, or Amsterdam. There's so many great stops on this itinerary. So here is a beautiful picture of the Rhine River. The wow factor on the Rhine River is the Rhine Gorge. Do you know you're going to see over 40 different castles when you're in the Rhine Gorge? And I just mentioned Rudesheim. Rudesheim, whether you're going north or south, is a great stop on the Rhine River. But Rudesheim is famous for coffee. And the coffee has brandy, chocolate, and whipped cream in it, and they set it on fire. So where you're sailing down the Rhine Gorge, we're going to give you sheets of paper with all of the different castles and some history on the castles. As you listen to the cruise manager narrate, the crew will come up to the top deck with silver platters full of Rudesheim coffee as you sail down the river. And if it's a little bit of cold weather, we put out furry blankets and you just watch the scenery go by. Now, I mentioned Basel, Switzerland. This is a quaint but beautiful city, and this is where you're going to board the ship. And the ship docks right here in the downtown. Do you know it's only a couple-minute walk from the ship's dock right into the center of the city, and that is just magnificent. It's got a big open square, and the ground is all different beautiful bricks. There's buildings that date back historically. My favorite thing to do in the square, of course, is to shop. But the shops are made chocolate shops. And what they have is different sheets of all different kinds of chocolate. And I love to get the ones that are embedded with different kind of nuts or different kinds of fruit. And they break off chunks of it from the sheets and you pay by the pound. So my husband and I will walk through the town eating all different chunks of different kinds of chocolate. And our first stop when we're in Basel is the toy museum. And they have a German toy museum. We get great little things for our grandchildren. There's also a little green train that goes all over Basel where you can tour the town. And I think last time we toured it was 2 years ago, was about 75 cents. And you could just go all over the whole area. There's great churches that are very historic and just some of the most picturesque scenery. We do have a pre-cruise that you can do a pre-night in Basel, and it's not far from where the ship docks. And it almost looks like the hotel almost looks like it's a palace. I mean, just walking through that is just a stop in itself. Now, I had mentioned Strasbourg, France, in the Alsace region. This every time we go, it's just becomes more and more charming. And many times when I've even gone in November, that something that strikes me is the geraniums are still in bloom in this beautiful city, even when it's almost winter. Now, the cathedral has an anatomical clock in it, and the anatomical clock dates back to the mid 16th century. Remarkably, it still works. And every day at 12:35, the dancers that are built into the anatomical clock come out, and the clock does a little bit of a dance to music. So everybody goes into the cathedral so they don't miss it. There's another thing at the cathedral that we think is really neat is the opportunity to walk to the top of one of the spires, and you get a 360-degree view of the city of Strasbourg. And I think it was like 200 or 321 steps up, but it was so well worth the view. And again, if you go at Christmas time, the last time we saw it at Christmas time, there were 11 different Christmas markets spread throughout this town. But our favorite thing to do here in Strasbourg is on the back side of the cathedral, if you walk a half a block down the street on the right, there's a pizza parlor. And the pizza parlor makes a really unique pizza that's wafer thin and a really different kind of cheese on it. And if somebody's with me, we all go and get different kinds and try each other's pizzas. But it's just a fun place to visit. At Christmas time, the theme is teddy bears. They have teddy bears decorating everything. And you just walk through this town as a looks like it's under a Christmas tree. It's just so picturesque. Now, Heidelberg, Germany is known for many things as well. And one of them is the Heidelberg Castle, which you can see in the background. It's remarkably intact. And it's also home to the biggest wine vat in the world. So winos like me just think that's just wonderful. But I just love history and I love art and architecture. So walking through the castle and just there's terraces that you can just go out and see all different scenic vistas, and they're magnificent. And when you walk down the hill from the castle, you'll walk through this quaint little village with cobblestone streets and really cute bridges. And this is the bridge that will take you into the city. You'll go through the city gates, and along the way, there's all kinds of really cute bakeries. And one of them, as I was walking by, had a cake in it that my grandmother was known to make, and I haven't had in years. So we went in and sampled it, and it just tasted like Grandma made many years ago when I was a child. Today, I was reviewing some different things for presentations, and I found out another unique thing about Heidelberg. And the Heidelberg University Library has one of the largest collections of Jewish library books, the Torah, different kinds of things that are preserved in this library. So if you're in Heidelberg, and I haven't seen the library yet myself, I think that's going to be an awesome stop. Now, as I mentioned, the Rhine Gorge, here's another great shot of the Rhine Gorge that you'll be sailing through, seeing those 40 different castles. Now, Cologne is another spot that I absolutely love. The Cologne Cathedral took over 600 years to build. Here lie the remains of the three kings. So again, it's got a great monumentous thing of being able to be the home of the remains of the three kings. And touring Cologne is just beautiful. But one of my favorite things about Cologne, Germany, is they make a beer here called Kolschbier. And it's only allowed to be called Kolschbier if it's made here in Cologne. And they serve it in little glasses so it doesn't get warm. But on the tour that we do, we also serve unlimited potato pancakes, which is my favorite food. And when we go to the Cologne stop, I warn everybody I'm going to eat my weight in potato pancakes. And never have I been disappointed in this town, whether it's art, history, architecture, or those potato pancakes and the Kolsch beer. Now here's some folks outside the cathedral from another view enjoying that Kolsch beer that you can see in its smaller little glasses, but it is just absolutely a great spot. Now I mentioned Rudesheim, and Rudesheim has tons of fields where there are grapes growing on the vine. One of my favorite stops in Rudesheim is to do the 5-mile hike through the vineyards. Another thing that we do, weather permitting, is gondola rides. And they, whether it's the gondola ride or the hike, it ends on the top of the mountain at a shrine to Kaiser Wilhelm. And you can take the gondola back down or continue with your hike back to the ship. We also do some wine tasting tours on this itinerary. And the city of Rudesheim has this little choo-choo train. And the little choo-choo train rides around the city and takes you down to the ship, back up to the ship, or it's a really easy walk. And another thing that's famous in Rudesheim is, I mentioned the coffee, and that's where they invented the coffee. And there's also a Siegfried's Music Museum, and you can see anatomical music characters, and they perform. And there's so many different choices here in Rudesheim. There's not a bad one. They're all magnificent. And like I said, personally, like the hiking tour, and we'll hike up to Kaiser Wilhelm's monument and just see both sides of the river and all the different colors of nature. And then there's Réquillart, France. And Réquillart was the inspiration for the movie Beauty and the Beast, for you Disney lovers. Some of these buildings, as I've seen myself, you'll see signs saying established in 1502, and these giant timber beams are still intact, holding up these buildings. And you walk through the cobblestone streets, and it just takes you back in time, and you can see where it inspired Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And it's just such a friendly, quaint little city. And just a fun story, when we were there with our friends a few years ago, the friend's wife slept in, and he rushed quickly to join us on the transfer bus. And his wife usually has the money, and he only had a credit card. Well, he wanted to grab breakfast because he was rushing at the last minute. So he goes into this restaurant without a dime in his pocket and just his credit card. And he ordered a little breakfast, and he was enjoying it. And he's real gregarious, so he's talking to everybody all around him. And out came the bill, and anything under $10 you couldn't charge on a credit card. And the people were just so nice. They paid for his breakfast. So the trip is going to end in Amsterdam, and Amsterdam is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The ship parks only blocks from the downtown, so you can just easily walk back and forth from town to the ship. One of my favorite tours here in Amsterdam is a boat tour through the canals, and the boat roof is made all out of glass. So you're sitting through all the different canals, seeing the buildings. And if you notice, the buildings aren't all even, because Amsterdam was built on marshes. And these homes are worth millions of dollars, even if they're not level. There's different flower vendors. And in the spring, one of my favorite things to do is watch my tulip bulbs bloom, because there are actually tulip bulbs that you can bring that are identified for US and Canadian entry into our countries. So you can purchase these really unique tulip bulbs to bring home, or dine on a little cookie called a stroopwafel, or they have meatballs called bitterballens, and they have a lot of different foods that are indigenous to Amsterdam. Of course, they're famous for their coffee shops, and the Anne Frank Museum is here. It's something that you would book through the website of the country, but it's very easy to get. But we have so many different choices, like the city tour there. And if you want to go in 2022, there is something going on in Amsterdam, near Amsterdam. It's called Floriade, and it only happens every 10 years, and it's going to run from the end of April through dates in October. And again, Greta can easily identify the time period. But you'll either see Floriade, or if you go early spring while tulip time is going on, you'll have the opportunity to see possibly Floriade and tulip time. So again, there's so much to do in all of these cities, and not one of them will disappoint you in their beauty and their culture and their history and their art. Now, I did mention that we sailed this year. We sailed successfully from July 5th through November. We had to do this in compliance with the EU guidelines. So with that, we had to use masks on board. We have a compliance officer. We upgraded to hospital-grade cleaning supplies. We required guests to complete 2 forms that they were COVID-free. Our crew is constantly checked. We normally have 20 on our shore tours. We reduced them down to 6. We social distanced. We did no touch temperature checks. We sanitized luggage before we brought it on board. But something I think that's really, really important that I never knew before is each cabin has its own heating and air conditioning system that brings in outside air. So it's always fresh. There's no recirculated air. Our cabin or our public areas, whether it's the restaurant, the lounges, they all have their own system with the same heating and air conditioning, bringing in outside air. So part of this was the reason that we were able to sail so successfully without a single COVID incident. So who's our guest? Our guests are people that want the lap of luxury, but casual in a 5-star floating hotel, that want fine dining, fine wine, a lot of inclusions, a tour in the morning, a tour in the afternoon, selections of tours, whether it be hiking tours, biking tours, special edition tours. You're going to get choices morning and afternoon, and there's no extra charge for a morning tour or an afternoon tour. And the sky's the limit. If Amsterdam isn't something that you would want to do, Greta can put together individual bookings or group bookings for a multitude of other itineraries. Now, if you're a single, we don't charge you double like many of our competitors do. We charge 1.25. And if you're a single, you get to sit with the captain on the first night. Now, I mentioned many times we are the highest rated luxury river cruise company in the world. There is a company called Berlitz. They did an independent study of all 320 river cruise ships. We have 10 of the top 15 ships in the world. And that was before we did the Ama Magna, which the Ama Magna this year won every award for being the #1 ship in the world. That's our double wide ship. She's not a trailer. Instead of being 38 feet wide, she's 72 feet wide with 4 restaurants, 5 bars, and a movie theater. But you can get information on our ships and everyone else's at the Berlitz Guide. They're going to sell it at Barnes & Noble. So I do encourage anyone who's thinking about a river cruise on us or anybody else to check out this Berlitz Guide. So here we are, welcoming you into our Ama family, because when you sail on us, you become part of the Ama family. And I thank you for welcoming me into your homes this evening. So I'm wondering what kind of questions you have for me.
Whoops. Hey there. Okay.
Greta, are we seeing any questions?
Well, I have a couple that I want to make sure that we hit. A quick question about folks with mobility concerns. How much?
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Hi, Greta. It's Kathie. I'm wondering if we have any questions.
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Okay. There. Let's try that. Kathie, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for joining us. And again, I will give Greta the option if you want to speak up and ask any questions from any folks that are listening. Well, while we're waiting for questions, off per person. We're also offering, based on availability, it's capacity controlled and will only be available until January 31st. Amadante, Impressions of the Seine, August 12th. And then we have 3 different itineraries that offer a free pre or post tour. We have Taste of Bordeaux, Gems of Southeast Europe, and Rhine Castles and Swiss Alps.
Okay. Kathie, can you hear me now? Uh-oh. Okay, I think we have.
Hi, Greta.
Oh, do you hear me? Kathie, do you hear me?
Hi, Greta.
Hey, hold on. I'm trying to. Kathie, do you hear me? Okay. Hi, Greta. Something's going on.
I'm flashing and in black and white still.
Kathie, are you able to hear me now? I know you.
I can. I couldn't hear you before if you were asking.
Okay, yes, there was something was definitely not connecting there. We couldn't hear, you could not hear me. There are a couple of questions that I wanted to make sure we hit. There's a question about mobility, whether folks, how far into mobility concerns are you guys able to accommodate?
We do not have handicapped accessible cabins. It depends on someone's mobility. We would have to have a private conversation with that person because there are a lot of cobblestone streets throughout the tours. And there are times when we raft next to another company, whether it's ours or somebody else's ship. The person has to be mobile enough to get from our ship to someone else's.
Okay, and just for anyone who's not familiar with that concept, sometimes in the European ports, they have to raft two ships. So like one ship comes in and another ship comes in and there's not room for them to be in different spots. So they'll raft up against each other. And so you'll actually walk from one ship to the other ship and then onto the land. So just for anyone who's not familiar with that concept.
And there's many cases where you have to walk up to on the top deck of our ship or someone else's to go across the top deck and then down another flight of stairs. So someone has to be mobile enough to be able to do that.
Okay, so that's good to know.
And then also something our ships and everyone else's in Europe do not comply with the Americans with Disability Act because there is no Americans with Disability Act in Europe.
Right, because that's an American thing.
Yes, it is, but not everyone knows that.
Right, this is true. A lot of folks, it's just a natural assumption, I think, especially if folks haven't been out of the country very much, that I think we kind of assume that whatever accommodations are here are everywhere, and that's definitely not necessarily so. And
Exactly.
because a lot of those cities and a lot of those ports are so much older than the ones that are here, there's just not the ability to accommodate.
Exactly. So in full disclosure, we have to make sure that everyone has their very best vacation possible. But if someone wants to talk offline, we can make a great conversation between the three of us or however many. So feel free.
Okay, perfect. Another question, you talked a little bit about typical guests for AMA, the people who are sort of the sweet spot for AMA. Can you give us an idea of what the average age range is, and do you typically have families on board?
Yes, we do. We allow children 4 to 17. We just won an award for the best river cruise company for families. And I would suggest if folks are interested, our Ama Magna has the biggest cabins in the industry. The smallest cabin on the Ama Magna is 210 square feet and ranges all the way up to 710 square feet. So if someone's bringing a family, there are areas in the one cabin I stayed in was an SA category where it had a pull-out sofa in the living room, had 6 closets, a separate water closet in the bathroom, and that was the average cabin on that ship. And it's 355 square feet. So if someone is going to bring a family, that would be ideal. The average age on our ship is 54.3. And also keep in mind that we partner with Disney. So if Disney's going to pick a river cruise company, they're going to pick it for quality, like-minded ideas of food and wellness and everything else. And it's going with children, and that's why we have the triples and quads. That was the thing that inspired Rudy to build the triple and quad cabins. This is so distracting.
I'm sorry, I know, I'm not exactly sure how to fix it either, so we're just gonna.
And I don't normally look like I'm dead.
We'll just motor through. Sorry about.
We will.
But the information is great. So that's what, that's what we really need is the information. So that's what's super duper important. So another quick question for you, just to make sure that everybody is clear. Americans are not traveling to Europe right now, correct?
Correct. We have got to wait for the EU to decide to allow Americans in. They vote every 2 weeks. There's a group of 26 countries called the Schengen countries. And once the Schengen countries approve, we can sail freely through all the countries. But we are waiting for the EU. But we never sail in January, February, and the first 3 weeks of March. Every year, our ships go into dry dock for that time, and they're refurbished year after year. Even if it's a ship that's only a few months old, it goes in and is redone from head to toe like it's brand new.
Okay. And so you guys are still selling for Americans when you pick back up this spring.
Correct.
Okay. Just so that everyone is aware of that it's open and it's selling. And we have a little bit of time there to let the EU sort of sort out how they're going to handle that.
And they have a magic number to determine their sweet spot. And I'm not sure offhand what it is. It's so much of a percentage of a population that is infected with COVID. So based on what our numbers are or what's going to drive their decision.
Okay.
But with all of us getting our vaccines now, I think that's going to help.
I agree with you. And I think that's what the entire travel industry is sort of waiting on the edge of their seats.
I know. And it's my prayer every day that this gets resolved for so many reasons. Selfishly for my travel world and my partners in travel. And of course, we want the world to be well.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. So that was all of the questions that I was seeing. I don't see anything else coming in. So I'm at this point going to say thank you so much for joining us tonight and for sharing all of that wonderful information and the beautiful photos.
Oh, weren't they inspiring?
Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait.
Well, I hope that everyone calls you. Now, how can they reach you?
Absolutely. So those of you who tune in every week, but you can reach me at savvytraveldesign.com. We also have a Facebook page, which is probably, if you're watching us, where you're watching us, Savvy Travel Design on Facebook. You can also, from the webpage, you can reach me by phone, by email, or there's also a contact form that you can fill out. So all of that information is right there, savvytraveldesign.com, and you can reach out in whatever way your blessed heart desires.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that they consider coming on AmaWaterways and joining you. And if it's not for this itinerary on the Enchanting Rhine, there's so many others that they can choose from. And I look forward to you inviting me back. And I hope the next time I don't scare anyone in my black and white.
Kathie, we'll definitely have you back on. I think maybe we'll have to talk about something more exotic next time, like Asia or Egypt. I think that would be.
Or Vietnam and Cambodia, Egypt. We also have South Africa.
Right, that's true. So many fabulous choices.
And for the month of February, let's think France.
Oh yes, absolutely. So
there will be a date in February that will be coming out in my recipe of the week that I send you, that we are going to have a sip and sail that you can invite your clients, and the owners of AmaWaterways will be hosting. So it will be on the rivers of France, and we'll be revealing our 2023 itineraries. So just in a few weeks, you can invite these wonderful participants to see our owners on the sip and sail.
Fabulous. I'll make sure that information goes out to my email list, and I'll post it on Facebook as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Kathie. Bye.
Good night. Bye.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. So really quick, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Next week, if you tuned in last week, we had a little bit of a snafu with my friend Jamie. She was going to come on and talk about all things Disney and what's going on with the parks right now. And she had some technical issues. She ended up having to be out of town unexpectedly, and there were some major technical issues with trying to get her connected in. So she is going to be joining us next week instead, talking about all things Disney. She's my go-to girl. If you know me, you know I don't do Disney. It's just not my thing, and that's okay. But anyone who asks me about Disney, I shoot them over to Jamie. She's fabulous. And so I thought it would be fun for her to come on. And honestly, she's just a really good friend, and I'm really excited to talk to her. So, it's just a really good excuse to get on the phone with her. But anyhow, so she'll be here next week. So I want to make sure that I remind you of that. And I'm just going to give you our travel tip of the week, and then I'm going to go ahead and bounce. So my travel tip for this week is to get a ride to the airport for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, it will save you a ton of money on long-term parking. And reason number 2, it will also save you a ton of time trying to get that shuttle, because the minute you pull into that parking lot, the shuttle that you want is headed out of the parking lot, and it's not coming back for 15 or 20 minutes. So if you can, save yourself the time, save yourself the headache, get a ride. I am Greta Smith, owner of Savvy Travel Design, and this is Fabulously Fun Vacations, and I am wishing you love, light, and vacation daydreams. I'll see you next week.